Hello, and welcome to the Sparring Sessions podcast. My name's 11 from Stranger Things, and we're here to break down UFC Kansas City, Machado Garry versus Prates, UFC Fight Night on the road. Once again, we love it. We got all that coming down, picks, predictions. But first, I want to bring in my co-host. I'm not doing this alone. You know him. You love him. He's got the UFC shirt on. Big Will, how are you doing today?
What's going on, man? I'm glad to have you back from your excursion.
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly timed too, with the week off from UFC and all that stuff. So it all worked out, man.
Yeah, I took a little vacation, flew across the seas, almost got food poisoning twice,
Oh
but
gosh.
you know, we'll do with it what it is. So yeah, we're here to break down UFC Kansas City, Machado Garry versus Prates, whatever you want to call it. I'll go ahead and throw up the introduction here. UFC Kansas City, Machado Garry versus Prates, T-Mobile Center, Kansas City, Missouri, USA. 6 p.m. Eastern for the prelims, 9 p.m. for the main card. 14 fights, 7 out of 28 fighters are ranked. I like to play the ranked game. We have 2 fights where both fighters are ranked. Obviously, the main event's one. Can you tell me the other fight?
If I had to guess, both are ranked?
Both are ranked.
Huh. Is it I don't know. Is it David Onama and Giga?
No, it is Chelsea Chandler and Joselyne Edwards.
Oh God. We had so many fights that could have been before that.
Yeah.
I was
I was
thinking
shocked.
Giga or Onama, Michel Pereira and Abus, and then I was also thinking Ikram and Andre Muniz.
Yep.
That's
All much
crazy.
better fighters than Chelsea Chandler and Joselyne Edwards. Chandler, do you know that she's ranked 14th at bantamweight, has never made bantamweight in her career. In fact, she's missed twice.
I think DraftKings has lines pre-Friday on which fighters will miss weight, and I guarantee you both of them are going to be like less than plus 200 to miss weight.
Yep. I would put money on it. I would hammer that line. But this is not the Best Bets podcast. Maybe we'll talk about that in the Best Bets podcast. You can find
Maybe.
us a line. So yeah, 7 out of 28 ranked. Pretty good card, I'd say.
Oh
Not a
yeah.
ton fell off. Hill and Roundtree Jr. were supposed to main event. That got rebooked, obviously, for UFC Atlanta. 2 guys from the US. No, it didn't, actually. It got rebooked for UFC Azerbaijan, of all places. I don't know why you wanted to throw it there. And then we got a bit of a weird fight. The original fight was Ahmad Hassanzada
Oh
versus Mitch
baby.
Ramirez. And Evan Elder came in for Mitch Ramirez. And then Ahmad Hassanzada, we'll talk about that fight a little bit more later, but he got arrested. This is all alleged right now. He's not been convicted, but child sexual assault is the rumor that we're
This is
seeing.
also following his audition to get into a role for Hollywood.
Oh,
Just
is it?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, no, that would make sense. It would make sense if he got the role. And
Yeah.
then,
Oh man, that's
yeah.
insane.
So,
Well,
Will, not a lot has changed on the card. You know how we do it here. What's your overall rating for the card as a whole? 14 fights, plenty of ranked fighters, some good fights.
I think the amount of fights helps them.
Yeah.
And I think they're, for the most part, all pretty exciting fights. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I think maybe it'd be a 6.5 in the Apex, but maybe since it's out of the Apex, it's in a crowd, it's in a place that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember them ever going to Kansas City. It's been, I guess it's had to have been a long time. Uh, if if they've ever been there. But you got people like Polyana, Viana. She's Killer Be Killed. Malcolm Wellmaker's making his debut. Damon Blackshear. You got guys all over the
Yeah.
prelims that are for better or for worse exciting, like Matt Schnell, Jimmy Flick. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen in that fight. But yeah, man, yeah, up and down if the prelims, if you can rattle off names like that in the prelims, it's gonna be
Yeah.
a pretty damn good event. So.
Yeah,
I'm pretty pumped, man.
last time in Kansas City, I completely forgot this card happened. Holloway versus Arnold Allen in 2023
Who?
of all cards. Max Holloway and Arnold Allen headlined a card in Kansas City.
That was in Kansas City?
Yeah, I know. I forgot that
Wow.
even happened.
That wasn't even that long ago. Wow.
No,
Huh. The more you know, I guess, huh?
more you know. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B. I think it's a good card. I think you'll get a lot of exciting fights. You know, Midwest crowd is gonna put on a show. So let's jump right into it. First fight, best fight of the night, obviously, women's bantamweight. Number 14 ranked Chelsea Chandler is a plus 240 versus number 15 ranked Joselyne Edwards minus 298. Chandler's 2-2 in the UFC, ranked despite never making bantamweight, coming off a unanimous decision loss to Yana Santos.
Oh
She's
boy.
5 years older than Edwards at 34. Edwards on the other side, 5-4 in the UFC, coming off a rear naked choke win over Tamiris Vidal. Also coming off her own weight miss. These two ladies, you said it yourself, do not like making weight. So,
Yeah.
Will, I'm going to ask you two questions. First one, over under 1.5 of these women making weight, or sorry, missing weight. Second, who are you picking to win?
I mean, I think they could both miss weight. I mean, Chelsea Chandler has yet to make weight at 135, and um, uh, I'm sorry, having a brain fart. Jocelyn Edwards, she's
Yeah.
missed weight multiple times
Yep.
in the UFC. But in her last few fights, she has looked a lot better than she did in her first few fights in the UFC. Um, Takedown defense is definitely something she's had an issue with, in her UFC career. Her offensive wrestling has looked to be better.
Yeah.
Um, Chelsea Chandler kind of looks like, that Stockton fighter out of the Diaz camp, but I really don't know where this fight's gonna go. I think uh, someone's gonna sit in top guard for a while. I think that's gonna happen. I don't know if this is gonna play out at range for 15 minutes, but the odds aren't justified. I think this fight could go either way.
Yeah.
Jocelyn Edwards is a pretty big favorite. I think she's gonna win, but she shouldn't be like minus 350. That's ridiculous.
No. And I am picking Chelsea Chandler. I think the odds are crazy. Obviously,
Yeah,
maybe I
something
would
like
never
that.
bet on I guess they're ranked, so my rule doesn't apply here. But you look at Jocelyn Edwards, neither of them are world beaters, but she lost to Eileen Perez and Nora Cornell, excuse me, back to back not long ago. And I think Chelsea Chandler, she's in a camp. It's not a great camp, but she has higher level losses, I guess, kind of. And I think she can kind of just body her a little bit. She's going to be bigger, I think, despite both of them missing. She'll probably miss by more somehow. So I don't really want to talk more about this fight. This is
Um,
going
I
to be,
will I will say that Edwards isn't used to fighting women that are as big as her. So I
yeah,
think that could be something that could play into this fight. But
yeah,
yeah, we don't need to sit on
no.
that for forever.
Next up, another fight. I don't know if we're going to spend too long on featherweights. Timothy Cuamba minus 105. Timmy on the UFC website versus uh, Roberto Romero. I said for Robert there. Let me fix that real quick. Roberto Romero from Mexico. That makes a little more sense. Cuamba is 0-2 in the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak, coming off a unanimous decision loss to Lucas Almeida. Romero on the other side, 0-1 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision loss to David Onama. Technically up a weight class, they're both featherweights, but short notice debut. They give you a weight class bump just to have you make weight. Another one where you kind of got two guys. I think this is probably a win. Loser leaves town, gets cut from the UFC. I'm going Romero here. I'm not very confident. I mean, Cuamba's pretty good. He has a few good wins. Mateo Vogel, Alexander Schenk, I think is good. I forget. It's been a while. But I think he is just going to be a little bit better. I think he's going to be a little bit bigger too. I saw a clip of him this weekend saying he changed camps and is working on, a little more professional coaches. He's training with, who's she training with now? Bren Primus, Alex Perez, the GOAT, Carlos Barza. So I think Roberto Romero wins this. Am I confident? No. Would I bet on it? No. But yeah, I'm going with him. What about you?
I'm also going Roberto Romero. He is closing in as a favorite. He was an underdog in the last few days. I think people are seeing what we're seeing. I think Cuamba's not that great. He went life or death with Lucas Almeida, I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
was. He got his ass beat by him. Roberto Romero gassed a bit in the Onama fight, but I'm almost certain that was short notice.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Um,
like 6 days.
yeah, I think him doing that, if he could have easily been finished by Onama, but I think he dropped Onama in that fight. Um, yeah, man, give me. I don't think I've seen anything great from Kawamba. Give me Romero. I think he'll go to 9-4-1. And see,
Wait,
we'll see Kawamba go to 8-4, like Roberto Romero was. This is definitely a coin flip fight, but yeah, give me Romero.
love it. Next up, women's strawweight, Jaqueline Amorim minus 550. This is probably the one of the lines that surprised me most versus Polyana Viana plus 410. Amorim is 3-1 on the UFC, 3-fight win streak, coming off that submission win over Vanessa Demopoulos. Viana on the other side, 4-6 in the UFC, and a 3-fight losing streak, coming off that TKO loss versus Julian Robertson a year and a half ago or so. This one's you, Will. You surprised by these odds, and you that sway you enough to pick Polyana Viana?
I don't think I'm going to pick Polyana, but those odds are ridiculous.
Yep.
Amorim, she is a girl that needs to get this fight to the ground, and if she can't,
Yep.
I think she's going to get knocked out. Polyana can definitely knock this girl out. Amorim also shows to slow down a little bit if she doesn't get you out of there in the first round, like
Mm-hmm.
Sam Hughes. Uh, Polyana's been around for a while. Um, Definitely a vet. She's shown that she can get submitted, and it looks like this is people love Amorim by submission. But I don't know, man. Let's see where her wrestling is, and let's see where her scrambles are. Because he fought. Who did she fight? She grabbed her glove. What the hell is her name? She just fought recently. Do you know what I'm speaking of?
Who fought Amorim or
Amorim. She hooked her. She was in her glove. She hooked her glove.
Demopoulos, Vanessa?
Demopoulos, yes, she
Yeah.
hooked Demopoulos' glove, and I didn't like that. Yeah, that wasn't cool. Um, I think if she was that high of a level, she would have submitted Sam Hughes, which definitely isn't an easy thing to do. But um, yeah, man, give me Amorim, but these odds are whack, man. I don't like these odds.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hate the odds. I think this is Amorim could pretty easily just not get any takedowns, get KO'd, like you said, or she could guess pretty easily. Viana, just Viana isn't very good. Is the only reason. If you told me like Mallory Martin was going in here versus Amorim, I might pick Amorim or Martin. Even like Veronica Hardy in there, I'd pick her with. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Viana 3-fight losing streak or sorry, 2-fight losing streak and 3-4. I don't like it at all. I will say Amorim holding the glove, love it. If this is something I've been talking about, and our buddy Genie just put out a video, it's not cheating anymore. It's not illegal because they don't punish it. So cheat, grab the fence, put
Yeah.
your finger in the glove, eye poke, kick. I remember Derek Lewis, I forget where, had a quote. He was talking
Yeah.
about he always used to, when he first came to the UFC, he had a bunch of nerves, and he would always just kick the other guy in the dick right away or punch him in the dick. Just get a 60-second break or whatever, and he would never get punished for it. So what do you do?
Yeah, man. I saw a fight over the weekend on Cage Warriors. The dude poked him in the eye 3 times before they took a point, and it's just like every time it's severely affecting the fight. And that guy eventually went on to get finished, but still, it's like it is rarely affecting the
Yeah.
fights. So
Next up, bantamweights. Malcolm Wellmaker minus 110 versus Cameron Saaiman minus 110. Saiman's 3-2 in the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak. He's coming off a 2 TKO loss to Peyton Talbot over a year ago. Wellmaker on the other side, 8-0, UFC debut, coming off a TKO win on Dana White's Contender Series. He has 4.5 inches of reach, and he is 6 years older than Saaiman at 30, which surprised me because, Saaiman's been in the UFC for 5 fights now, but he's still so young. You're going to get these guys that are just always going to be young until they're not. This one, I was a bit surprised at the odds. I mean, Wellmaker, I thought Wellmaker was going to be an underdog because Saaiman, he was the hot shit not too long ago. He was 3-0 in the UFC and, not beating world beaters, but still, like, he was pretty good. And he's lost to 2 pretty good guys, Peyton Talbot, Christian Rodriguez. And on the other side, Wellmaker, I mean, who is he beat? He's beaten regional guys, which is what you ask for a guy in the regional scene. But, I mean, he hasn't really beaten anyone. I'm going Saaiman here. I think he's a little more proven. I don't think Wellmaker is of the, we've seen him lose now by getting out-grappled by a huge guy in Christian Rodriguez and then getting outstruck by a really good striker in Peyton Talbot. And Wellmaker, I think, is a very good striker. But I don't think I think Saaiman's a little more crafty even at this stage. Yeah. You with me?
Yeah, I was really tough on this fight, but I think Saaiman's experience is gonna put Wellmaker back to the drawing board. He's really explosive. Wellmaker is, but the guy that he fought on Contender Series was just running at him to get like he was doing the Frankenstein just to get he was begging to get put down, and that's what happened. So, if you're UFC level, you put a guy down that's doing that to you. So, give me Saaiman.
Yeah. Good fight though. Two very good guys. Next up, also bantamweights, Damon Blackshear -360 versus Alatengheili +290. Blackshear 4-3-1 the UFC and a 2-fight win streak, coming off a submission win over Cody Gibson not that long ago, a month and a half, I think. 5 inches of height and 6 inches of reach over Alatengheili. Alatengheili on the other side, 5-2-1 the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision win over Clayton Rodriguez. Will, this one's you. Odds are a little wide. You think they're justified?
I think the Amorim odds should be this fight.
Cool. Okay.
For Blackshear. I think Blackshear is going to put it on Alatengheili.
Yep.
Man, he's just one of those guys that he's not losing to super, super high level fighters. Like, he's losing to guys that are like gatekeeper, middle of the pack, 15 to 25 ranked guys. I think Blackshear is better than that. I think Blackshear is, obviously beating guys like Clayton Rodriguez and Chad and Helliger and those guys that Alatengheili is taking to decisions. So, man, I think Blackshear is rolling right now, and I think he's going to look to control him on the ground, and I think he'll lock something up because he's so aggressive with attempting submissions. So I'm going to go with Blackshear by submission in this fight.
I'm with you. Gustavo, the one draw Alatengheili has in the UFC, Gustavo Lopez. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Took him down 3 times. And I mean, 75% takedown defense for Alatengheili, but this is not against like Kevin Kroom, Chad and Helliger.
His only finish in the UFC is Kevin Kroom. Like, come on, dude.
Go. Wait, is that a guy who cheated on? Or got cheated on?
Tim Elliott's wife at the time was cheating on him on their wedding day. They were fucking cheating. That's insane. That's insane. It was Gina Mazzani. Yeah. That's insane.
Look up a picture of Kevin Kroom. He's not even like
he looks like Big Bird.
Yeah, he's not like an attractive guy.
Okay.
Okay, he's not like super, like he's not a lot more attractive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not like
it's just like what? what does Kevin Kroom got that Tim Elliott don't? You know what
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean?
All right. Next up, a guy who actually has beaten Alatengheili featherweights, Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Gutierrez minus 130, Castaneda plus 110. Third time this fight's been booked. It was, when those Castaneda stepped in for somebody and then it got canceled and then got canceled again. And now it's here. So it's at featherweight. They're bantamweights, but, featherweight, I guess, just to not cut weight again. Gutierrez 9-3 won the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision win over Quan Lee. Castaneda on their side, 4-3, coming off a unanimous decision loss to Daniel Marquez. He has 4 inches of reach over Gutierrez. I think I can't remember if we did a full preview, because this is one of the ones that was booked week of and then taken off the card week of.
I'm sure we've spoken about it at some point.
Yeah, I'm going Gutierrez. Same. Go back and listen to the other podcast if you want to know too much. Better, faster striker, leg kicks, better camp. Yeah, experience, I guess.
Yeah, give me Gutierrez, especially at that line minus 130. Give me that all day long. I don't see much that really gets me out of my seat with John Castaneda. He's an all right guy, and he'll forever be an all right guy outside the top 15. And give me Chris Gutierrez, probably by decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, lightweights. This one's going to be good for you. I didn't time it so that you're breaking this one down, but I'll take it. Evan Elder minus 258 versus Gage Young plus 210. Elder 2-2 on the UFC, a 2-fight win streak, coming off that submission win over Darius Flowers. Young on the other side, 9-2 overall. This is UFC debut. You remember we were talking about Ahmad Hassanzada. This is the guy who's replacing him, Gage Young. I will say I do like Gage Young's nickname, G Money. I don't know why, but he's making me think of. You remember that Greg Hardy song that he made?
I don't think anybody remembers that Greg Hardy song.
I gotta send this to you after it's.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, this one's you will, and please tell the audience who you're picking and why you're picking Evan Elder.
Evan Elder, man, he is, I think, one of the most complete young fighters at lightweight, man. I know the guy personally. He is one of the smartest dudes that you'll talk to about. There's fighters that you will talk to and you'll be like, oh, that guy's, a bag of bricks. But this Evan's super articulate, man. He is. You've seen him fight. His striking is extremely sharp. His game plans are well thought out. I was at his last fight in Denver against Darius Flowers, man, and oh man, there's some funny stories about that week. But I told Evan, I was like, yo, you're gonna submit this guy, yo, he's gonna quit. You're gonna make him, and that's what he did. He went out and submitted him, and Evan is above all else, he is a good person, and I am so excited to see him fight. Gage Young, he's exciting. He's young. He lost to a guy by the name of Bobby Lee by submission, and not that Bobby Lee. We're talking about Bellator's own Bobby Lee.
I got my own story in a second here.
And dude, I would not be surprised if Evan goes out here and finishes a young Gage Young, which by no means is a bad loss for Gage. He's taking this fight in on 4 days' notice. He's a bigger favorite. He's less of an underdog than the previous guy, Hassanzada was at the time. So that's no skin off his back. Give me Evan Elder and give it to me confidently.
Yeah. Bobby Lee, funny story about Bobby Lee. I made a post about him way back in my MMA Roundup days. I said he was going to lose to, God, who was it? Lucas Clay, maybe on an LFA card. And I put him to lose. I put the other guy to win as one of my bets. And Bobby Lee commented on the post, hey, watch this, buddy. And then he went out and won, and he came back and commented again. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. But yeah, he's not. 15-9. Okay. Losing by armbar. And then Quillian Salko, not a bad loss, but Evan Elder, literally the only thing I think that worries me about Elder is the weight thing. He's kind of like fluctuated in weight, made short notice debut at 170, 155 for a few fights, went up for some reason to fight Darius Flowers at 170. Now he's coming back down. I mean, he's in a good camp, so I'm assuming he's doing it correctly, but even if he misses weight, he'll this isn't.
He's already below 170 in terms of his weight.
Yeah, okay.
I've had a little bit of experience with that in that field in terms of like nutrition and the science of the weight cut the week of, and I'll ask him every few days how his weight is, and he's on schedule to make weight for sure.
All right, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, flyweights,
Oh,
Matt
boy.
Schnell, minus 280 versus Jamie Flick, plus 225. This is favorite the right word to use for this fight?
The people's main event.
This is the people's main event. Matt Schnell, 6-7 in the UFC with 1 no contest on a 3-fight losing streak, coming off a submission loss to Cody Durden. Flick on the other side, 2-3 in the UFC, coming off a UAE loss to Nate Maness. Funny thing about this fight, both guys are unretiring to fight each other. And I can't believe I'm saying this in the year of our Lord 2025. I'm going Jimmy Flick. I don't know why the odds are this wide for two guys who, I don't want to say they suck. Neither suck, but they both have, they're both very flawed. They both have their flaws. Now it's his chin. And, he got choked out shooting a bad double, I think it was, on Cody Durden. And if he shoots a double like that on Jimmy Flick, I mean, go back and watch his flying triangle choke over Cody Durden, who just beat Matt Schnell.
It was sick.
It was sick. I don't think Matt Schnell is going to be putting it to – Flick is kind of just lost when he gets out-hossed or, KO'd on the feet, really. I don't think that's going to happen here. And, yeah, give me Jamie Flick by submission. I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel so dirty, Will.
I don't think Jimmy Flick's chin is as bad as his record might seem. His fight against Nate Maness showed that he can definitely take a shot. I don't think he's really been put out cold like that. He's just been like TKO'd where the damage accumulates at that point. But yeah, man, I think for sure there's going to be a scramble in this fight. And if there's a scramble, Jimmy Flick's, he's liable to either take something home with him or put you to sleep. So, yeah, man, I'm with you. Give me some Jimmy Flick. I like Jimmy Flick, and we've seen Matt Schnell get submitted by people with lesser jiu-jitsu, man, and he does the patented double tap at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
The good old panic tap, man, and Jimmy Flick could have him in something that's not even like super dangerous, and Schnell could tap out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We've seen him do it. Yeah, give me some Jimmy Flick, man.
Need it. All right, moving on the main card, middleweights. Ikram Aliskerov, minus 650 versus Andre Muniz, plus 470. This one surprised me a lot. Aliskerov, 2-1 in the UFC, coming off a TKO loss to Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whitaker. Short notice main event. Muniz, 6-2 on the other side, coming off a split decision win over Jun Young Park over a year ago. This one is I'd say two grapplers. That's probably a good way to put it. Maybe one grappler and one
two shitters. Muniz has been shelled his last couple fights, man. He has been shelled. I don't think he really looked good in the Park fight. Debatable on who won that, I think. I think Ikram's got the tools to nullify what Muniz wants to do, and I think Ikram probably knocks out Muniz. I don't know if the odds should be this big, but yeah, give me Ikram by knockout. Muniz, he's older. He's taken a couple knockout losses, like sleeping knockout losses in his career. Yeah, give me Ikram.
I think I'm going Andre Muniz here. I think he's a guy who the books have no idea how to line. I mean, he was like a minus 400 versus Brendan Allen. He lost that fight. Minus 300 versus Paul Craig or something. Lost that fight. And then he was a plus 200 or something to Jun Young Park. won that fight. I think Aliskerov here can beat him on the feet, but I think the jiu-jitsu – I've watched a lot of like Jack Slack film study on Ikram Aliskerov, and I think he did a video about Andre Muniz too. I don't know. Something in me says this is going to look real middleweighty, real dirty, and it's going to go to the ground at some point, I think. And I'm just picking the guy who has better jiu-jitsu, in my opinion. But I'm not very confident in this. I don't know. Weird one. And welcome back. Little technical difficulties, but, that's how it goes. And we'll jump into welterweights here. Randy Brown, minus 238 versus Nicolas Dalby, plus 195. This is a fight of some vets. I was very surprised at this, how many fights Randy Brown has. First off, 13-6 in the UFC, more than Nicolas Dalby. I would not have guessed that. Coming off a split decision loss to Ryan Battle, a lot of people thought he won that fight. 4.5 inches of reach. Dalby on their side, 7-4-1 with 1 no contest, coming off a split decision loss to Renat. A lot of people thought he won that. 6 years older than Randy Brown at 40 years old. I think this is me. Yeah, this is me. I'm going Randy Brown here. Not confident. Dalby could win here, but Brown a little younger, a little more reach, maybe a little bit more power, more of a vets for some reason. So I don't love the odds, but you got that look. Are you going Dalby here?
I don't know, man. I'm not too. This is one of those fights that I feel like I've seen in the welterweight division 14 times.
Yeah.
Where this is going to be a razor close fight. You could throw Zaleski dos Santos in here. You could throw I don't know who else in here, but you could throw in one of those middling welterweights, man, and it goes to split decision. And I feel like Muslim Salikov is another one, man. Like just and like. It's just these guys are just in close fights all the time, and it's like you feel like you've seen it once, you've seen it all every time. So, give me Randy Brown in a close decision.
Yeah, they both fought Muslim Salikov, like you said. Tim Means, Wellington Turman. These are just jobbers. Not much more to say here. Probably boring fight too.
Yeah.
Middleweights, number 14, Michel Pereira, minus 155 versus Boost Magomedov, plus 130. This is going to be a good one, I'll tell you that. Pereira's 9-3 in the UFC, coming off a main event loss to Fluffy Hernandez. Magomedov on the other side, 3-2 on the UFC. And a 3-fight win streak coming off that submission win over Bruno Ferreira, 5 inches of reach. Will, you got Germany or Brazil here?
Germany. Man. Dude, Michel's proven that he's got 3 minutes of gas for himself at middleweight. He's gone decision before, but it's even more evident now. He gets ahead of himself, and he's also got some personal issues going on with his divorce and stuff. He's going through a nasty divorce that's very public on Instagram. If he doesn't get Avis out of there in the first 3.5 minutes, he's going to get finished in the second or third round. I think Avis's last win against who was that? That was Bruno Ferreira. That was really impressive. Yeah, give me Avis. I usually fade him, but in this fight, I think it's a great fight for Avis to win. Because he can definitely be defensively sound long enough for Michel to get tired, especially if he holds him up against the cage and makes him work a bit. Dude, Avis is gonna get a takedown on him and finish him.
I'm going Pereira, and I'm pretty confident here too. If I liked what you said, except I don't think Avis is going to be the one to. I think he might gas out as well. You remember that Sean Strickland fight? He gassed out. Kyle Bahalio fight, he gassed out. Even the Bruno Ferreira fight, he was looking awful in that second round, and then kind of came back. And he's been clipped. He got KO'd in 30 seconds by Lewis Taylor. I mean, 7 years ago, sure, but I think Pereira just kind of bull rushes him, KOs him, subs him, whatever you want to say, 60 seconds or whatever. Should be an exciting fight. Either way, I think this is going to be a good one. Michel Pereira fights are always exciting.
Yeah.
Next up, featherweights. Giga Chikadze, plus 145, number 12 ranked, versus David Onama, minus 175. Chikadze, 8-2 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision loss to Arnold Allen. 6 years older at 36 years old. Onama, 5-2 in the UFC on a 3-fight win streak, coming off that unanimous decision win over Roberto Romero, like we just mentioned. So yeah, this one's me. I'm going Onama here. I don't think Chikadze is fully washed. I mean, he won a round, and you could have given him the fight versus Arnold Allen, but he just hasn't been fighting at all. Like, he has 2 fights since 2022. And I mean, like, I don't know. David Onama is just so powerful, and he impressed me so much in the grappling against Jonathan Pierce and against Gabriel Santos that I think honestly he could take Chikadze down here too if he wanted to. I mean, Chikadze hasn't really faced anybody who wanted to take him down like that. That's good, you know? So yeah, give me Onama here. Break into the top 15 at featherweight and maybe make a run. He's an exciting guy. What about you?
Give me Giga.
Oh,
Giga's been working with Marab recently. Um,
really? That
yeah,
makes
he
sense.
has, and I think he can shore up some holes maybe in the grappling. I don't know if Onama going to grappling will be as easy as it may seem on paper, but I think in a striking match, straight striking, Giga's got a chance against anybody.
Yeah.
And Onama has been shown to really death gas sometimes.
Haha.
You never
Yep.
really know when it's going to happen, but it happens. It's happened a few times
Yep.
uh, in the UFC. Um, yeah, give me Giga. Probably decision. Would be surprised if we get a late TKO. We see another Giga kick. Because I think Giga is going to chop that tree legs, uh, body, head, and I think he could definitely give me round 3 or decision, Giga.
Round 3 decision. I like it. Well, I don't, but I like your confidence. This one is going to be this one's working out for you too to get to break it down. Light heavyweight co-main event. Number 15 ranked Anthony Smith, as he's still ranked, plus 380 against Zhang Yang, minus 500. Smith is 13-11 on the UFC, coming off a TKO loss to Dominic Reyes, and a 2-fight winning streak. Sorry, 2-fight losing streak. He's 10 years older than Min Yang at 36 years old. Zhang on the other side, 2-0 in the UFC, coming off a TKO win over Ozzy Diaz on a 2-fight winning streak, 11-fight overall. And Will, I mean, we've talked about it before, even on this show. You're an Anthony Smith guy. Yeah?
One last ride. One
Retirement fight?
last ride.
Are you picking him?
Oh, I'm definitely picking Anthony Smith. You know
Yeah.
I have to. You know that there's fighters. You've known me long enough. There's fighters
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick, no matter who they're fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Angela Hill, Donald Cerrone, Anthony Smith, Derek Lewis. It doesn't matter who they're fighting. I'm gonna bet. I'm gonna pick them.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd like to think that that's a good thing in my consistency with doing that. That's almost a good thing. Uh, Zhang Ming Yang, man, we'll meet again. My old nemesis. He beat a good friend of mine, Tuko Tokos, in a
Yeah.
knock him down, drag him out, slobber knocker of a first
Ooh,
round. Dude,
look
those
crazy.
elbows that Tuko was hitting Zhang Ming Yang with off the
Yeah.
break were just unbelievable, dude. I also want to say another thing. Anthony Smith's losses lately are not bad losses, man.
No, they never have
Dominic
been.
Reyes, Khalil Roundtree, Roman Dolidze. Those are not bad losses at all, especially with the Roman Dolidze that we just saw piece
Yeah.
up Marvin Vettori. Like those are not bad losses, man. They just are not. Um, his speed might have been going down a bit, but that happens when you take damage over the years and you get older, man. The tires don't grip the road like they used to, which is
No.
okay. And I think at 205, you have a longer leash of a career than you would at, say, bantamweight with getting older and losing some tread on the tires. But Zhang Ming Yang is highly flawed in his own right.
Yeah.
He has an 18-6 record and with 5 finished losses. So, and if Anthony Smith is one thing, that guy is a fucking finisher. And he can finish you, he can knock you out, and he can submit you, most of all.
Yeah. 0 wins by
Um,
decision.
like Dude, if you look at the comp that he's fought before he got to the UFC, like it is not great. He beat Bretson Ribeiro and Ozzy Diaz in the
Mhm.
UFC. And
Do you
then look at the
see?
guys he's fighting. What?
Do you see who he lost to in 2018?
Oh, Askar Mazarov.
Oh yeah, the
Like that
GOAT.
guy is the fakest record in MMA. He lost to an 0-0 guy in 2019.
Yeah,
Like that is not good. That's very recent.
yeah,
I know Cougs also said something to me, a friend of the show, that I try not to think much of fights that happened more than 4 years ago, but man, those are close enough. 6 years ago, you shouldn't be losing to guys that are 0-0,
yeah.
especially if you have 12 or more fights, like, and you're gonna be anything, man. I think he's drinking some of that Chinese water over there, and he's got something special in his diet. But he is vicious, and he has looked really good. But Brenton Ribeiro and Ozzy Diaz, I think Anthony Smith still clears both of those guys. Um, so yeah, give me Anthony Smith. Give me Anthony Smith by submission.
If he's gonna win, he's winning by submission. I agree.
I,
Um,
I, I could also see Zhang Mingyang getting a little hype and Anthony Smith saying, "Screw it, I'm gonna sit the hell down on one of these punches and hurt him." Dude, I could see it, man. Like if he's going into this knowing it's his last fight, Anthony Smith gets TKO'd. We don't ever really see him get knocked out. He kind of like Donald Cerrone, like they
yeah,
just kind of get TKO'd and pummeled. Um, Another one of my favorites. But yeah, man, I think dude, Anthony's gonna pull the trigger in this fight for better or for worse. If it's gonna be his last fight, he's gonna have a bunch of people in the crowd. This is the hometown fight for Anthony Smith. He's
yeah.
from Nebraska, one state over. So give me Anthony Smith, man. I gotta go with him.
I sure do hope he pulls the trigger. Last few fights have looked pretty rough for him. I mean,
No
last one
doubt.
he was losing he lost his coach, so you can understand that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going Zhang here. I think the odds are a lot wider than they should be. I mean, retirement fight, yes. UFC undefeated guy, yes. Still, minus 500 is crazy. You said yourself the um, people who are beating him are just elite. I mean, you look down the list. Outside of Roman Dolidze, it's all title challengers, former champions, or close to former champion or title challengers. Like Alexander Rakic should have gotten a title shot, but anyway, I think Ming Yang could gas himself out punching Anthony Smith. That sounds bad to say, but I would be interested in Anthony Smith's sub line. I would definitely be interested. That being said, I don't think he has really anything for him on the feet. I'm going Zhang Ming Yang by TKO in Anthony Smith's final fight.
If it's his final fight, man, you gotta sprinkle it. Green Goblin
Oh
called it.
yeah. Sprinkle sure. I'm definitely like Anthony Smith sub. If you give me like plus 600, I'm hitting that. But
Oh, it'll be that for sure, easily.
I don't know about picking him. And this is one you're going to want to wait until Friday to play. The lines are only going to get worse or more in the favor of Anthony Smith. So, actually, I have Anthony Smith by submission
Oh, I
here.
literally was just pulling that up. I was literally just
What do you
pulling
think
that
it
up.
is? What do you think it is?
Plus 850.
875.
Ooh, close.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move in. Let's move on. Maybe we'll save some of that chatter for the betting show. Main event, welterweight main event, pretty good one. Number 7 ranked Ian Machado Garry versus number 13 ranked Carlos Prates. Gary's 8-1 in the UFC, coming off that unanimous decision loss to Shavkat, short notice title shot. Prates on the other side, 4-0 in the UFC on a 4-fight winning streak, 11-fight total win streak, coming off that TKO loss in his own main event to Neil Magny. TKO win, 4.5 inches of reach over Prates. This one's me. Give me Prates here. I think that Garry is going to come in here. Garry's incredibly smart. He has zero ego in the octagon, and he will do whatever it takes to win. That's his best attribute, I'd say so. And he's facing a guy. Usually, he has a bit of a reach advantage, but he's facing a guy he doesn't have a reach advantage against. And Prates is like, he doesn't have the wins that Machado Garry has. Like, he hasn't shown that he can grit out these fights. I mean, he hasn't had to. He's been destroying people. But yeah, I mean, I think I don't know how it's going to go. Let me put it that way. I have no idea how this fight is going to go. It could be a early KO like it has been. It could be a 5-round back and forth. You know, maybe they each get knocked down, but I think it's pretty clear Garry's going to come in here to grapple. Prates is going to come in here to strike. I did like the grappling defense from Prates against Neil Magny. I think Machado Garry's a better wrestler than Neil Magny at this stage, but yeah, I'm going to go Fighting Nerds momentum here. Maybe they're intelligent, you know, putting together a good enough game plan to beat Ian Garry that isn't just Shavkat's holding him up against the fence. So, kind of a weird one, though. Where are you at here?
Give me Prates, man. I'm on there with you.
Is
I
that the
think
underdog of the
Garry.
week?
It could be. I'm
Right.
down. I think watching Garry, when he gets to where he wants to go, he is very good. But I think on the way there, there's lots of sloppiness and mistakes.
Yeah.
Like if he's wrestling and it's good. If he's striking and it's good. I think he has issues with the in-betweens. Um, and I want to know what happens to him if his game plan is let's wrestle this guy up and he can't. I want to see what he
Yeah.
looks like if he can pull off plan A. And he had a very give and take fight with Shavkat, but Shavkat also had a blown out knee. So I think, I think it was the clearest 3-2 fight ever. Like,
Yep.
people forget that fights can be clear but close.
Yeah.
Like that was clear 3-2 to me. Um, yeah, I want to see what happens to him when he can't do exactly what he wants to do out the gate.
Yeah.
I'm Yeah, I think Prates is going to hurt him. I think Prates can knock out Ian Garry because I feel like we've all been waiting for Ian Garry to get knocked out since he debuted in the UFC. Um, he got hurt by Jordan Williams.
Yep.
Um, yeah, man, I think this is the guy. I think Prates is obviously better. He is a meaner striker than Ian Garry. Ian Garry stood at distance and chopped away at Neil Magny's legs for 3 rounds. Remember, we were there live for that, and
Yep.
Prates wouldn't have let that go to decision. As we saw, he knocked him out in the first round viciously. So,
Mm.
um, I don't want to play MMA math, man, but he hurt uh, Neil Magny bad,
Yep.
and
Definitely.
there's a mentality when you bring that into like as a fighter, there's a mentality of I'm gonna get this guy out of here, or I'm gonna pitter patter for 15 minutes and chop at this dude's legs and whatever. Yeah, give me Prates, man. I like him a lot, and it's hard. It is getting harder and harder to bet against these guys.
It definitely is. Real quick, we have two underdogs that we share. You get to pick Prates or Flick for the underdog of the week.
Prates.
Let's do it. Carlos Prates is our underdog of the week. All right. And that's a fight card. Pretty good fight card. Next
I
up,
know.
real quick, regional minute, non-UFC action this week. I'll zoom through it. Thursday at 7 p.m., FFC 89 out of Peru. They're on Fight Pass. Want some MMA, same thing. Inca FC 49, also in Peru. YouTube, 8 p.m. Thursday. Just, if you want some extra MMA this week, tough enough. Friday at 10 p.m., UFC Fight Pass. Actually, some people you might know. Do you remember Joshua Weems and Kai Kamaka?
Yeah.
They're fighting. What about Daniel Lacerda? How
Oh
do I say
yeah.
Daniel Lacerda? He's
Where's he
fighting.
fighting? Jungle fights?
No. Tough enough.
Oh wow. Okay.
this Friday against undefeated guys. So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting.
Octagon 70 on Saturday at noon. Octagon pay-per-view. Christoph Jocko is fighting in their middleweight tournament, and you also have Mallory Martin fighting for the strawweight championship. So
What weight class is Jocko fighting at?
Middleweight.
Oh, so you're going back down?
Yep. Coming back. BKFC 73 on Saturday in Italy. Chris Camozzi, if you remember Chris Camozzi, he was supposed to fight Lorenzo Hunt, but that got canceled, so he's fighting some other dude I've never heard of. KSW 105, they got a big one. Bart Tosinski is fighting Grisbeck, and Mariusz Pudzianowski is fighting Eddie Hall on this card. Two strong men, so that'll be
Battle of the Meatballs.
Errol Zimmerman, kickboxing legends, also fighting. So that should be good. Cage Warriors 188 on Saturday on Fight Pass. Welterweight and light heavyweight championships are for grabs. Nobody crazy, but got a few prospects always on these Cage Warriors card. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn are boxing on Saturday on DAZN, so I don't think that's a lot of money. And then Sunday at noon, we got on UFC Fight Pass, Samurai Fight House 21. Some prospects, maybe we see a guy or two. NFC has a Brew-Jitsu event, Jiu-Jitsu in a brewery going down on Sunday, and sparring sessions will be there. Our first media-covered event.
Brew-Jitsu, that's crazy.
Brew-Jitsu, so that'll be fun. Fury Challenger Series 13, Sunday, 5:30, Fight Pass. Nobody really note. And then, that's about it for Regional Minute. One more segment and we'll get you out of here. UFC Iowa going down next Saturday. Main event, Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo, Des Moines, Iowa. I'm gonna let you go first here. We talked about it. I would have known your fight to look forward to either way, but please tell me what light heavyweight fight is going to be your favorite fight on the card.
My boy Tuco Tokos is fighting again in the UFC. He's fighting Junior Tafa coming down from heavyweight. This is definitely a winnable fight. He's had two super tough fights against undefeated prospects in the UFC. Yeah, man, I am super, super pumped. He's fighting a guy that's 6-3, far from undefeated. This guy has definitely is definitely more beatable than the guys that he fought prior in the UFC. I think third time's a charm, and I think Tuco gets a submission win against Junior Tafa. I was having a discussion with my buddy Evan Elder that's fighting on the Kansas City card. I said heel hooks are just not something that you see in high-level MMA. Yep. And Junior Tafa got heel hooked by Walter Walker at heavyweight. That is no bueno. That is not good.
Not good at all.
And Tafa's been taken down in 4 out of the 5 fights that he's been in the UFC. He blitzed Parker Porter, and he didn't get taken down by him. But I think Tuco's better than Parker Porter and Sean Saraf, or I think that's his name.
Yeah.
I think Tuco is gonna become Tuco Tokos Magomedov and take down Junior Tafa and submit him. So that's the fight I'm most looking forward to. Yeah,
that's gonna be a good one. Sounds like we got your preview, but we'll have to get it again next week. Mine's gonna be Montel Jackson and Daniel Marcos. Two guys who I think they're going to fight for, essentially to fight into the rankings. Two guys who are on crazy win streaks and beating a bunch of crazy guys. Going to be a crazy striking fight, I'll tell you that. And we'll be here to break it down. Obviously, Best Bets is going to be coming up this week. But yeah, that's UFC Kansas City. Thanks so much for joining us, Will. Thank you as always. I'm sure, we'll see you for a few more cards before then.
Of course.
But yeah, Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you enjoy the fights too. We'll see you later.
Have a good one.